Yes. Yes. And I've written notes and stuff, so after. We'll be honest. We'll take. We'll get it. I'm sure it's the same.
I just say it.
Oh, okay. Number 5. Does it say number 5? Does yours say number 5? Okay, use that one.
Yep, we're ready.
There, we're ready.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Maysville Board of Commissioners Thursday, December 9th for our regular meeting. Our invocation will be done by Reverend Lease.
Gracious Father, we come before you as we freshly pass it through the season of Thanksgiving. Father, we continue to give you thanks for all the goodness, wisdom, protection that you provide. Father, we also come to you and ask for your hand of mercy be extended unto us. Pray that you will bless those that are wanting. Father, we pray that you bless those with healing that are battling illness and disease. Father, we pray that your hand be upon our community, that all the decisions will be made. Look for the benefit of our community. We ask these things in Christ's name.
Thank you, Reverend Lease. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell, Commissioner Wood,
Yes, ma'am. Here.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cotterill,
Yes, ma'am.
City Manager Wallingford,
Here.
City Attorney Cottle,
Here.
Controller Stanfield, HR Director Rose, Project Coordinator Horde,
Here.
Public Works Director Truesdale, Police Chief Muse, Fire Chief Doyle, Utility Manager Huron, Planning and Zoning Administrator Larger, Building Inspector Fawcett, Codes Officer Brooks, Main Street Director Reese.
Thank you, Lisa. Consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cotterill.
Yes, ma'am. Board and commission appointments and reappointments. Appointment of Lori Ulrich to the Convention and Visitors Bureau for the Chamber to expire on 10/11 of 24. Appointment of Aaron Caskey, Board of Architectural Review, expires 12/31/24. Appointment of Andrew Young to the Board of Ethics, expiring 12/8 of 24. Appointment of Carly Moore, Board of Ethics, expires 12/8 of 24. Reappointment of Kitten Gilligan for the Main Street, expires 12/31/23. Reappointment of Donna McRoberts to Main Street, expires 12/31 of 23. Reappointment of Amy Dudley to Main Street, expiring 12/31/23. Appointment of Samantha Wilson to Main Street, which will expire on 12/31/23. And the appointment of Marilyn Fell, Main Street, expiring 12/31/23.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cotterill.
Yes, ma'am. Public announcements. I do. I want to extend my thanks to Chief Muse and his team for the Shop with a Cop program. I appreciate the extra effort and contribution to the community on that. And I'd also like to congratulate Billy Lofton on being the Grand Marshal of our Twilight Christmas Parade. And I want to thank all of those, Public Works, Police Department, Fire Department, for making it a very smooth and enjoyable evening. Thank you guys very much for that.
Absolutely. Job well done.
Public comment.
My name is Pastor Jason Giles from Frontline Valley Church. Just going to sit this here.
Excuse me, from which church?
Frontline Valley Church. I'm sorry.
Frontline,
Frontline Valley. Church.
Frontline Valley.
That's
Okay.
up there on Pelham Street.
Okay.
I just come down today to bring awareness to an event that we're going to have for Russell Chandler Jr. that passed away recently. He didn't get a burial because he was cremated, so we had to wait for the ashes to come back. But we're going to do on the 17th, I'll give each of you one of these. 17th, we're going to have there his burial down at Charleston Bottom Cemetery on Route 8. And then after Charleston Bottom, we're going to go back to the church and we're going to have a service, and then we're going to have a dinner. So I just want to bring awareness to that. It's supposed to be a night of healing for the community. Everybody's welcome. We want to bring awareness to the situation, obviously murder, but both addiction, homelessness, everything in a nutshell, so that we kind of change the way that we see these type of things and how we deal with them. But everybody's welcome to come. Whoever wants, is available that day. And we wanted to do this for Russell's family because his mom said that he didn't get an obituary. So we made sure that the obituary was put in the paper and that he's going to get a proper send off, if you will. He had a visitation, but he did not have a funeral. Many of you may not know who Russell was. I knew Russell personally. I'm not going to say that Russell didn't make a few mistakes in his life, but he does indeed deserve a proper send off. And we're going to do that for him. So I just want to bring awareness to that. And I also want to bring awareness to the toy drive that we got going on up there. The signups for that's on frontlinevalleychurch.com, and the pickup is on the 19th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if anybody's kids needs toys, you can sign up on there. I figured I'd bring awareness of that everywhere that I could. But I thank you guys for everything that you do and continue to do. And if we stand together, we can get a lot accomplished. So,
Agreed.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend
Thank you.
Giles.
You guys have a good evening.
You too.
I just want to add to that, I lived next door to the Chandlers for many years out on Tuckahoe. Okay. And knew his parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles well.
Next, we have Brian Helpenstein addressing residential treatment.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much.
Maysville night, tomorrow night.
Bulldog night.
Bulldog night, yeah, blackout or something like that. So our new schedule's here, our black and gold. So, they're identical, just different colors converted.
You can take that, Brian.
Sure.
You can use that for something.
Same
thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I don't know. We can give, if you see somebody struggling, maybe you give them one. You put in your wallet or purse. Yeah.
you can have one.
There's plenty of us running around, plenty recovering addicts and inactive addiction running around. So, we scatter these out all over town in different places, the pro office, stuff like that. So in the library. So we just want to help all we can. I want to expound on last month. I really appreciate the warm reception I was given last month and the cooperation and stuff. And I can't say enough how happy I was about that, especially, I've come down in here a little radical and wily at times, wily at times. I just want to touch on a few more things, some things I may have forgotten last month to say. And of course, I came back, I said I was going to come back and just give you part B or whatever. The agency, we've visited 2 sites. I'm not at liberty to talk about where those are. 2 sites here. One is would cost $900 some thousand to get both lots. The other one would be about $249,000. They said they would work with us, maybe even on land contract, which is good news too. So we're looking at, we're going to need some money. We're not established as far as financially. We're going to be doing fundraisers. We're going to be doing, accepting donations. We're 501c3 nonprofit, tax exempt. But I want to sort of touch on some of the other things that I forgot or what I want to tell you all about. What we're wanting to do here is help people learn how to help people. We just found in the last few years what causes addiction. We used to think it was hereditary, biological, genetic, and it's not. We found out now the science to say it is not. We call that nature. It's really nurture, in that what they're saying is now is PTSD, which could be caused from as much as little as maybe a divorce to sexual or physical abuse. And like I said, as little as a divorce, or maybe even a kid not getting it this way. I don't know. It might be traumatizing for somebody not getting their way when they're used to getting their way. Trauma is defined as more stress than one can handle. As simple as that. So we have as injured parties, and when they try alcohol or marijuana or cocaine, they really gravitate towards it. They latch onto it. I remember the first time I tried alcohol, I was not worried about baseball cards anymore. Fishing, I used to have tackle boxes and fishing poles. I wasn't worried about any of that. I didn't even care about Kings Island. My new Kings Island was drinking alcohol, and then it went on to marijuana and so forth. So the only thing we found to treat that, it's an incurable disease. It cannot cure addiction. The only thing we found to arrest it or to treat it is a person has to help the next addict. It's almost like the movie Pay It Forward. I help you and God helps me. And if I don't believe in God, I help you and I feel better about myself, and I'm less likely to use. So that's why I run around helping people, because I don't want to use. So we're going to be teaching people how to be teachers, helping people learn how to be helpers, talking people into going to college to become social workers and counselors. The more people we get like this, the more we're going to help each other here in this town. It's like I said, the Pay It Forward thing. It's all we have. So we can also do stuff like smoking cessation. If somebody comes in our doors and says, I'm not on crack or even on alcohol, and I'm smoking 2 packs a day, we're going to figure out a way, because there's this thing called nicotine anonymous. So we don't want to turn anybody away for anything. I'm serious. If somebody comes in and says, I'm trying to lose weight now. If somebody's blowing up for me too much spaghetti, I know I should own stock in Pasquale's. So if somebody comes in with anything, if somebody comes in saying they're wanting to hurt themselves, we want to help them too. We don't want to send anybody back out into the cold in any way, shape, or form. Because what happens is when people come and the door's locked, or if they come in and don't get accepted, then they go back to do what they were wanting to do before they came. We want to institute animal therapy. Right now, there's a lot of equestrial stuff. The juveniles, there's a place in Campbell County. We're not going to be able to exactly serve juveniles at first. That's going to take some time, probably, and maybe another building because of liability. But we can take them to Milestones in Campbell County, which uses equestrial therapy. They have some tough love stuff, educational stuff, and also horses. So that's the best thing I've heard going. Other than that, it's just the little jails around the state, which sometimes they get worse even. With animal therapy, like we may try out right now, there's some shows on TV in prisons across the nation and some rehabs that have dogs. A lot of rehabs have a house dog that moseys around, a little bloodhound or something. And so we want to be able to use, animals too, cats, whatever, because sometimes some of these people are so injured, they don't trust humans anymore. They don't want to love or be loved. So an animal sometimes can break that wall down. Ohio is right across the bridge here. I don't know how we can do all that. We talked about having if we could have a steamboat sitting in the middle of the river, and if we could put people on that and come over here and get people here and go over there. We don't know. We want to help everybody. We know that Aberdeen, my friends in recovery call Aberdeen North Maysville. This is, just for fun, because we want to include them. Here's a secret weapon right here that I just found a couple of years ago, the autobiography. When the person writes their story, we want to be able, when somebody comes in, we want to be able to hand them a journal book or whatever, a notebook, and they can start writing their story and get some of that out of them. It's almost like with a therapist. The way to get some of this out of you is to tell a therapist or tell a sponsor or tell a friend in confidence about the things that you've done and it's happened to you. And it's a way to release that. Writing is even better. So we want to be able to hand somebody a book like this, and they can, at their own pace, they can sit and write and get some of this out of it. Maybe even one that's locked up, one that has locked. I think they have diaries like that. When it comes to detoxing, then we want to be able to do the best we can. Right now, I've got friends doing vegan detoxes, which is like the ultimate for inflammation and stuff. We want to do stuff like chess, teach people how to play chess. Maybe even their kids come in and play chess with them, get their minds going. And last but not least, I have bugged Jared to death about the state police have a thing called the Angel Initiative. Does anybody in here know what the Angel Initiative is? The state police have a program now across the state where if somebody is an addict and they come up to them and they want help, the state police will get a recovery addict in the community to link them up with either meetings or inpatient treatment or whatever. It's a real thing. If you go on their website, it's the first thing you see, the Angel Initiative. We don't know if we want to call it that. Maybe we can call it something else. I come up with, we used to call it the nudge from the judge, but I like the relief from the chief. What I mean is like if one of Jared's officers catches somebody with a pipe, a needle, or a baggie with residue, a baggie with residue, send somebody out for 3 to 5 to 10 years. Seem like more of a waste of time. We're seeing the drug war wind down. The war on drugs is winding down slowly. We want to be on the forefront here in Maysville and be in same pace like Cincinnati, Dallas, whatever. So what Jared's guys can do is say, look, we have this bag. It's probably got dope in it, residue. We can send it off and get you for possession, which is going to cost you. You're already on parole. You're in trouble. Or you can go over here and get help. This facility. And if you stay clean, it's going to be an Exhibit A bag, Exhibit A, the bag of baggie, filed away. If you stay clean, we won't have a thing to worry about, and we'll all be friends. If we see you using or test you using, we're going to help you out and put you in jail where you were going already. So we used to call that a nudge from the judge, but now I'm trying to think of something, relief from the chief. I don't know. So, and I want to thank Jared, because the young man that I'll try to be as respectful as possible that Jason was talking about, our little friend Russell. I was going in the library one day. I think to probably take some of these in. We're opening my home group. My home group's in the library. And Russell was out there with a little dog. He said he wanted to go to rehab, but he didn't want to leave his dog. He had a dog. So I was like, well, we'll fix that somehow. And I called Jared up. I got a situation. I don't have the gas money. Russell has a dog. Jared came and took care of both properties. He came and took $50 out of his pocket. It wasn't out of any fund. He took it out of his own pocket. And I'm not saying this because Jared's my cousin or I love him so much or anything like that to kiss his butt. He came out of his pocket $50 to take him to Louisville. And Jared took the dog off his hands. Now Jared's son's got the dog. We thought it was a Rottweiler in a lab, but it ended up being a lab and a dachshund. So now we thought it was going to be big and protect the house. Now it's this long dog. So, but Jared, yeah, I was grateful Jared did that, and that probably made Jared feel better and helped me. We took the boy to Lexington, Louisville, and he got homesick. I'll say that. We'll end it with that. He got homesick and he wanted to come back home. So that's what we're at. A lot of people want to be here in Maysville. There's there are people who love Maysville because it's comforting. We got good people here. There might be a bad one or two, but there are good people here.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you all.
And we appreciate the work that you're continuing and the group, all the group of folks that are working with you. Move forward.
Thank you very much.
Brian, you're doing a good job. You really are. We appreciate it.
And Matt, I see that number 20 on our agenda is a discussion on Addiction 101 session. Do you care if we go ahead and,
Nine.
oh, I'm sorry. It is 11.
Skip up the, just roll right into that one.
Yeah, and then we'll come back to the other two since it's about addiction.
So I was fortunate enough to have a conversation last week with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Alex Ellswick. And he is a co-founder of an organization called Voices of Hope. And I just want to give you a little background on him, what they do, and where I'm going with this. He joined the Department of Family Sciences at the University of Kentucky in 2020 as an assistant extension professor for substance use prevention and recovery. He earned his master's and PhD at UK and now is teaching there. His emphasis focuses on equipping extension to build recovery capital in the community. So one of the things that he really hit on was pulling together those community members who have to be involved and need to assist individuals who are looking for recovery or who are in recovery. So what I like to do and what he's willing to do, he's willing to come down here to Maysville with one of his team members and do an Addiction 101 training. Voices of Hope has been in existence for 8 years now. It is a nonprofit entity in Lexington. Just to give you a little bit of information on them real quick. Voices of Hope helps people in recovery stay in recovery by providing no-cost recovery support services, conducting research and educating and advocating for the community they serve. Their overarching goal is to enhance the quantity and quality of support available to people seeking and experiencing long-term recovery from alcohol and other drug addiction. In regard to people in recovery, they do recovery coaching, telephone support, recovery meetings. Let's see here. For those seeking recovery, they also help them find treatment, meetings, etc., coaching services, overdose response training. They assist with medication access and support, and they assist family and friends of those who might be in recovery. Now, the key here is they are not a residential facility. So they help individuals find a residential facility to get other kinds of help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down here in the next week with Chief Muse, Chief Doyle, Sheriff Boggs, and Judge McNeil, and come up with a list of individuals, community members who would be involved in supporting a recovery center or just helping those who are in recovery. And when I say it, I'll be very broad with this, but health professionals, public health professionals, those in the medical those in the medical field, those in the judicial field, those individuals who would be involved in this sort of process and healing. So I'm going to sit down with those four and kind of brainstorm a little bit and come up with those individuals who should be involved in that sort of a seminar. And what we'd like to do is sometime maybe in January, after the first of the year, is get all these individuals together and get Alex and one of his team members up here and kind of talk to us.
Good deal.
Okay, and I'll keep everybody posted on how that comes about.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
No, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Matt. We'll go back now to number 9, the mask policy.
in meeting with a few of the departments on the, what was going to be, which I still don't think will happen, the OSHA vaccine testing and mask policy, a couple of the groups asked about if we would be willing to possibly relax the mask policy. And if you recall, we reinstituted the policy back in August. And it was a good conversation, particularly with the police department and some of those members. And one of the members basically said they feel discriminated against. And the same individual, which I like this, he asked for a possible reprieve was if the county is not in the red in regard to an incident rate, could we possibly relax our mask policy for those who are unvaccinated? So I told the police department that I'd be more than happy to bring this in front of the five of you and get your thoughts on that. And Jared, if I've left anything out that we discussed, okay.
Well, I mean, most importantly, it needs to be a common sense policy and not necessarily dictated by somebody that's far away from here who doesn't know our needs.
Sure.
So to the extent that gives us flexibility that's called for out.
Yeah, we can draft our own, we can have our own policy. That's not a problem. Essentially, at this point, it's been anybody who is unvaccinated, who is not by himself or herself inside is to wear a mask, or in the instance of public safety, if they're public safety departments, if they're dealing with an individual or somebody, maybe Jared has an officer on an arrest or on the scene, they would have their mask on.
So they're just saying outside. Is that what they're saying? Jared?
Well,
Outside?
I know, I think Jared, go ahead. You go ahead. Yes. Here, Chief.
I think that the biggest complaint where they felt like they were singled out when they would come to the police department because we make them have their mask on. And those who were vaccinated did not have to have their mask on. So they felt like they were discriminated against. And so they would not come to the police department at all. And so they just kind of felt isolated. So they were feeling like if they could get this relaxed, at least they would, they said, you know, there's some schools in the area. I know in Fleming County, it's optional for the high school students. If they want to wear it, fine. And they basically were like, why can't we do something like that? And still keep our 6 feet apart and be safe, but just kind of let us have that option. And that was their biggest concern.
Yeah.
Is this something that needs to be decided tonight, or do you want us to get together with you, you know, through the week and come to a
Well, I'd like to
consensus?
have a
Or
consensus with the group on this, because that was our consensus back in August. And I believe that was when we did the municipal order on the, it wasn't in the municipal order. It was more of an informal policy that we determined when we did the municipal order on the 2 days of vacation. If you showed your vaccination card, you were fully
As
vaccinated.
long as you're not in the red, is that what you're saying?
Well, that was a suggestion from one of the officers.
Okay,
That's what they are now. I mean, that's what it is now.
That's
It's
what
not
it-
mandated. It's just suggested. So if they're in the red, these are the things that are recommended. And mask wearing is one of them.
Okay.
Anything outside the red, you're okay. I mean,
I don't have a problem with it, really.
yeah, I'm fine with flexibility too.
Okay. So basically, as Chief said, following all the other precautions, the 6 feet and that sort of thing. Okay, now, regardless of incident rate, does it matter whether we're in the red and the orange and the yellow? Just to clarify, okay, you're shaking, you don't, okay. I just looking for some guidance.
You know, we've been doing this for almost 2 years, and I think we all know the routine, and, you know, it's not
And I-
2020 anymore.
And I know I can pretty much guarantee just about everybody who is unvaccinated, they practice those protocols. They practice
Yeah.
them.
Or they've
Wow.
had
They
it,
do.
you know, and they
Yeah.
might be better off than the vaccinated people.
Why don't you
so
just
you're just
bring us
disregarding
something?
The color code that we're not.
Well, that's what I'm
going to-
asking. That's what I'm asking with the five of you.
Yeah, because, well, you can't have a consensus. I mean, you can't have a
Yeah.
show of hands.
Sure, whatever, and if you all want to, Kelly, if you feel like they need to vote on it, it's
I think it-
whatever.
Has to be a vote, doesn't it?
I mean, it was, I don't think it was a vote when we
You-
did it in
Okay,
August.
you
It was
can't
not.
poll. Okay, all
Right,
right.
but I mean, if the consensus is just to relax it, or even make it optional.
I prefer, just me personally, I prefer that we stick with
If
it's
you're
not
in the red.
mandatory, there are no mask mandates anymore. I mean, we could do our own, but I'd like utilizing the state's code. I mean, if we're back in the red, we should practice. We
And
should.
when
It's
Jared, was
recommended.
that
rather. I
was
mean,
the,
nobody's
that was
gonna
the
get-
suggestion from one of the officers, wasn't it? Yeah.
Can you just get with Victor and get it straightened out? I mean, he is the guru. He is
Not
the,
the guru. It's on the state's website, but I think.
yeah,
that's what
but I
we should
mean,
do.
you're the man here, so.
Well, I guess
But
what
you're not going to be wearing them for a while. You could be wearing them for a while.
would your recommendation be to just follow what the state recommendations
Yeah,
are?
It's
Recommendations
not
are.
mandated.
It's not
It's
mandated.
not saying you shall, or it's recommended.
Well, why don't we do that? Why don't I get with Rhonda and we'll send out an email and say, these practices are recommended.
By the state.
We're not forcing you. These are recommended guidelines by the state.
They did away with all the mandates
Okay.
at the last session. So
How you think you're, okay? All right. We'll get together then on that. I'll get with Rhonda and we'll shoot out an email to everybody.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Next item, holiday cleanup.
Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've done this the past couple of years to try to assist with those who might have excess garbage from the holidays. We plan on setting some dumpsters out starting December 22nd and picking up on January the 3rd. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Is there a possibility that could be extended a week? That is coming off the holiday.
Some people leave their trees up for a while in there.
Just
Yep.
1 week.
Sure. So do the
Yeah.
10th, on the 10th?
Yeah.
Y'all have a problem?
No,
No, that's fine.
Let's move it to the 10th.
Yeah, January 10th.
that's good. I
Okay.
agree.
But it may not be Monday too, on the 10th, it may take you into Tuesday.
Oh, that's fine.
That's fine.
No, and he'll have the chipper going around too for anybody who has a live Christmas tree. They can set those out. And when I just want to reiterate, when they do that, please take off all the lights and any ornaments and
Yeah,
anything like that.
exactly.
We want to make sure it's bare, and please don't put out a fake Christmas tree to go into the chipper either. But we will have the chipper truck running for the trees. Dennis, you haven't had that happen before, have you? Okay.
You have? You have?
That's why I want to emphasize that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And, oh, sorry, Mayor. Well, if I may, if I could give you just, before we get into the intergovernmental transfer, I've got a couple other notes I want to brief you on real quick. I want to update you first on the progress with CTC, who's the consulting company who came in and gave us a presentation. Judge and I have received a draft RFP. So we're reviewing that, and we are going to be having a online meeting with CTC to go over that draft, determine if there are any changes we need to make. At first glance, I think it's really good. Got a few small things that I'd like to recommend. I believe the judge does too. And hoping to get that final RFP out in the next couple of weeks prior to the holiday. Judge, would you add anything to that?
No, pretty much covered it. If we'd like to do something else, we'll address it.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge McNeil.
Also, Mayor, I have sent out on a separate note on RFPs, a request for proposal to update our audio and video here in this commission room.
Stop it.
Yeah, we need it. Yeah.
Stop it.
Penny gave me an allowance, so I'm okay here.
That's not on the agenda. We can't talk about that.
So those proposals are due December 15th, and I'm pretty confident I'll have at least two. And I'll bring those to you at the first meeting in January to discuss. And hopefully, if everybody's good with it, we can get this thing, for lack of a better term, professionalized.
Right.
So we're gonna have cameos and close-ups and all that.
If you want, we can.
Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome. Just two more items, Mayor, if you don't mind, I'll be brief. I was speaking with Commissioner McKay on the Rave Alert system. And he was asking if we could get that pushed out a little bit more. I know Clay Boozer's done a really good job. We unfortunately have had a lot of water leaks in the past couple months. And we just want to emphasize to get folks to sign up for those Rave Alerts for when those things happen. And I'll get with Lisa tomorrow and we'll get that pushed back out on our website and out to Facebook and Twitter and everything like that. last thing I have, Kelly and Nicole have been working closely on the property at 1217 Forest Avenue. The owner would like to deed that to us, give it to us. It's a vacant lot. The structure has been torn down. We tore it down. The title is clean. Is that correct, Kelly? We have a resolution. If you'd like to act on that tonight, there's by no means are we in any rush. We will add this. If you all want to take it, we will add this to our list that we are compiling, hopefully to have an auction late spring, early summer to get rid of all these properties. This property is directly across from, I believe, Forest Avenue Police Station and IGA.
It's next to Andrew's property.
And there's actually another vacant lot beside it that we are working on as well. It's whatever the five of you want to do. If you want to wait, and I can get you, I don't know how much more information I'd have to give you, but
Kelly already has it ready.
Kelly has it ready.
I don't have a problem with it.
You good? You want to go? Is that okay? Okay.
A resolution authorizing acceptance of 1217 Forest Avenue, be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute a consideration statement on a deed from Kenny Cherokee to the city of Maysville, conveying 1217 Forest Avenue for no monetary consideration.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so now we're back to the intergovernmental transfer to the airport board.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Cotterill approached me a few months ago. She was approached by the airport board asking if we had any older vehicles that we might be able to donate to the airport board, which they use kind of like a taxi to take individuals who may fly in and may need to go somewhere.
Courtesy car.
Courtesy car, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
We recently, the fire department recently purchased a vehicle for the assistant chief that was budgeted. And that vehicle is now available. Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a 2006 Chevy Trailblazer with approximately 165,000 miles. So if you all don't want to do this, we would surplus it at some point when Dennis does an auction and take whatever we can get. We donated a vehicle to them probably
10 years
yeah,
ago.
every bit of it. 10,
That old
12.
van.
No, it was an old Explorer, 10 to 12
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and all it would take is a motion by the commission to authorize.
So
the
moved.
intergovernmental.
Second, I just have a
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
So that's off our fleet insurance, correct?
It would be
When
off.
you donate it?
Yes.
And so they still are using the other one. When that comes back to, that will come back to us eventually in a transfer back, or what happens with that?
That's a good point. I will check with them. They do still have that.
Yes, they do.
Yes, we can take that back.
We donated the one before that. They gave us that one back and we sent that one to them.
Okay, and we'll
Put it in
We'll
surplus.
put it in a surplus. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I'll get with you on that.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution, participation in the National Opioid Settlement 21-77.
A resolution authorizing participation in national opioid settlement. Whereas 2 proposed nationwide settlement agreements have been reached that would resolve all opioid litigation filed by states and local political subdivisions against the 3 largest pharmaceutical distributors of opioids. And whereas $480 million has been earmarked for payment to the Commonwealth of Kentucky and its local political subdivisions. And whereas the city of Maysville must take affirmative steps to opt in to these settlements in order to receive any settlement funds. Now therefore be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to register the city of Maysville on the national settlement website and to execute any and all necessary documents required to participate in the settlements and receive funds therefrom.
So move.
Second,
For discussion. Did the county file for this too? Are they part of? Okay, and Buffalo, as I recall, Buffalo Trace, we voted. Will they get a part of this too, the ad districts?
I can't answer that. David.
No, you don't know.
It was just county and city governments, wasn't it?
Oh, I said,
States, county, and city government. It was local political subdivisions. I
Subdivisions,
believe.
yeah.
It may be. I don't have an answer.
okay, I was just curious.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution adopting bicycle and pedestrian plan 21-78.
A resolution adopting Maysville Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan, be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the Maysville Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan attached hereto is hereby adopted by the city of Maysville.
So moved.
Second,
It's not attached.
it's
Roll
not
call,
passed.
please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution awarding the bid for 3 new police cruisers, 21-79.
Resolution awarding bid for 3 new police cruisers, whereas the city of Maysville advertised for bids in accordance with plans and specifications as follows. A, 3 new police cruisers. B, advertised November 22nd, 2021. C, bid opening December 6th, 2021. Whereas the following bid was received. Number 1, Mann Chrysler of Maysville, $97,338. Whereas the city of the city manager and police chief have recommended the acceptance of the first bid and only bid. Now therefore be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky as follows. Number 1, the bid of Mann Chrysler of Maysville in the sum of $97,338 for the subject contract described above is hereby accepted on behalf of the city of Maysville. 2, the mayor is hereby authorized and directed forthwith to execute all contractual documents necessary or appropriate to effectuate acceptance of said bid and to consummate the contract on behalf of the city of Maysville.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing cybersecurity preparedness grant 21-80.
Resolution authorizing KLCIS Cybersecurity Preparedness Grant. Be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute the acknowledgement form for the 2021 KLCIS Cybersecurity Preparedness Grant.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing a lease agreement with the state of Kentucky 21-81.
Resolution authorizing lease agreement with Kentucky Administrative Office of the Courts. Be it resolved by the city of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute a lease with the Kentucky Administrative Office of the Courts to lease an office space of 185 square feet located at the Kenton Commonwealth Center, 201 Government Street, Maysville, Kentucky, for the sum of $1,757.50 per year to be paid on a quarterly basis at the rate of $439.38 per quarter.
So moved.
Second, but is this for drug testing or something?
It's drug court.
For drug court.
Drug court, yes.
Yeah.
They do drug testing, excuse me.
What floor are they gonna be on?
They're on the first floor.
First
The
floor.
2 offices that the city had left over.
Oh, okay.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance amending salary schedule, second reading 21-14.
An ordinance adopting salary schedule for classified city employees and non-elected officials for services rendered beginning July 1st, 2021. Summary, This ordinance adopts a salary schedule for regular city employees and non-elected officials by job classification for services rendered on and after July 1st, 2021 until amended.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
yes.
Commissioner McKay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell.
Yes, ma'am. Do we have anything else to come before the board?
I would like to ask Chief, do you have internet? You do? Okay. Does anybody know if is ATT still out?
It was down today, but it was back up. down
Oh,
home.
back up. Okay.
It was
All
back
right.
up.
I
Yeah.
haven't had any issues or heard.
Okay, it was
anybody here
down all
in the
day.
city.
That's why.
Okay.
Okay.
No, ma'am, that's all I have for you.
I will entertain a motion then to
So
adjourn.
moved. Second. So moved.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
What if I said maybe? Yes.
You need this.
Commissioner Cartwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner McKay, Mayor Cottrell.
Thank you all.